Someone pointed this out to me on Twitter, but Poipol's drawing is still in Kukui's wall and it hasn't been removed. That's probably either a small hint that it might be coming back for the league, or they're just keeping it because they decided that a Pokemon drew it, so it should stay there forever. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, episode 125 of the Sun and Moon anime titled Ash, Encounter Beyond Time just dropped. In this episode, our main hero gets sent back in time to meet a young trainer who Ash may or may not know. Who is it? Well, let's find out. The episode begins in the forest with Celebi coming out of a flashing light. As it's flying along, it sees a thunder in the distance and goes to investigate. It looks down and it sees that it's Ash and his Pokemon training for the Alolan League. That was just Pikachu's Thunderbolt. All the other Pokemon are training as well. We go to Kukui's house where we see a picture of young Kukui with his Litten being held up by Burnet, which surprises Kukui. Kukui confirms that that was indeed him at the age of 5 and asks Burnet where she found it. She says she found it in the closet along with a book that has an index of Pokemon moves. So he's been studying Pokemon moves since he was a kid, and Kukui reminisces that he used to take this book everywhere. And we see a flashback of Kukui watching a young Hala battle. He doesn't even know about Hariyama, just a Makuhita, and he uses Heavy Slam on an Ace trainer's Alolan Sand Slash. The trainer responds by using Ice Ball, and Makuhita dodges and uses Close Combat to knock it out. After the battle, he's talking to Hala, and he says that he also wants to do the island pilgrimage as well, but Hala laughs and says that he is still far too young. Young Kukui responds not to treat him like a kid because he already has his own fiery MZ. Back in the present, Burnet asks what happened to that Litten, which is a good question, but Kukui just kind of responds by saying it was his parents. Back to Ash and his training, and Ash has Torrcat use Fire Blast and his Lycanroc use Stone Edge on each other. However, the moves collide in such a way that creates such power that it causes Celebi to panic and go back in time somewhere else. However, also caught in it are Ash and Torrcat, who disappear along with the Celebi. Once everything clears out, Ash's other Pokemon are in the field looking for him. Ash lands in a similar looking field to where he was at earlier, but when he looks around for his Pokemon, he can't find anyone. Not only that, but Torrcat hears something near a bush and is ready to fight when a Litten pops out. Torrcat is staring down the Litten, but it backs down when it sees a figment of Incineroar behind it. From behind the bush pops out a young trainer who's the same one from Kukui's picture, meaning that it's Kukui and his Litten. Young Kukui sees Ash's Z-Ring and gets excited and shows him his Fiery MZ, and he asks Ash if he could do the dynamic full flame for him, and even though Ash is hesitant since he's never done one, he still decides to give it a try. He puts on the Fire Z Crystal and thinks back to how Kiawe does it. Then, he goes for it, using Dynamic Full Flame on a rock shaped like a Druddigan. He questions whether that rock was there before, but still uses the move nonetheless, and it's very effective, obliterating the rock. Young Kukui is very impressed and excited. Ash hands him back his Z Crystal, and Kukui asks Ash if that was really his first time using the Fiery MZ, to which Ash responds with the affirmative. Litten flips over Kukui's book to the front page, and it got slightly damaged by the Z move, but not too bad. Kukui then says that he's like the Move King, and nicknames Ash Move King. That's creative. He then asks Ash to battle him so he can see what more moves, and Ash agrees. However, just then, we see a massive Trevenant in the back. Who's that Pokemon? It's Trevenant! Ash and Kukui get ready to battle, and there are other Pokemon watching them. Ash tells his Torrcat quietly to go easy on Litten, but Kukui hears him and tells him that he isn't a kid and to go all out on him. So, Ash agrees. Ash also nicknames Kukui Gao for the Incineroar hat that he's wearing, Gao being the first syllable for the Japanese name for Incineroar. Kukui starts off with Ember, but Torrcat easily deflects it. Ash then has Torrcat use Flame Charge, followed by a Fire Blast, which KOs Litten. Kukui goes up to Litten, who's KO'd, and starts crying. Litten sees this and starts licking his face, and Ash tells him that it's okay. And Kukui says that it's not fair that he used Fire Blast because he didn't want to lose, but Ash tells him that he can always just give it another try later. That's how you get better. Torrcat then pokes Ash, and he turns around to see a bunch of Pokemon surrounding him. Kukui says that these are all his friends, and he invites them to him. Then, the giant Trevenant from earlier also shows up, and Kukui tells Ash that this is the Elder Trevenant, who's the totem Pokemon of this forest, and this is who gave him the Fiery MZ. He climbs up the Trevenant, but the Trevenant starts sneezing. Kukui says, uh-oh, again? And goes around the back of it, and has his Litten use Scratch. Ash doesn't know what he's doing, and says that looks more like a tickle than a scratch, and Kukui says that that's fine, it works. Basically what happens is when the Trevenant gets an itch on its back it can't scratch, it starts sneezing, and Litten's scratch works the best. Then, rain clouds come over, and it starts raining for our heroes. Luckily, the Elder Trevenant uses what I think is Forest Curse, and causes some of the trees around to bend over and provide them with some shade from the rain. Ash and Kukui thank him. They're below the Trevenant when Ash asks Kukui what he's doing, and he says that he's reading his move index, but it's more impressive when you see it in real life. He asks Ash if he's battled a lot, and Ash tells him he has. He's even battled gym leaders who are tough, and once you beat 8 of them, you get to go to the Pokemon League, which is like the festival where trainers gather to battle. Kukui then asks him what happens if you win the Pokemon League, and Ash says that his dream is to become a Pokemon Master. What? That has nothing to do with the question, Ash. Anyways, it stops raining and Ash and Kukui thank the Trevenant. However, it starts sneezing again. Litten tries to scratch it, but it's not going away, and this time Litten calls on Torrcat to help it, and they go up the Trevenant. Ash also climbs up the Trevenant while Kukui's brought up there by a Heracross, and they see that inside their Trevenant are Cutieflies who are stuck there and can't fly because their wings are wet from the rain. Ash and Kukui decide to help them dry them off by using the heat from their fire Pokemon. After helping the Cutiefly and they're able to fly away, they ask the Trevenant how he feels, and the Trevenant begins to smile and tosses Ash the Fiery MZ. Kukui tells him that that's also how he got the Fiery MZ for helping the Trevenant. The Celebi then comes up and sees that Ash is not from this time, and as Ash is falling, teleports him back into his own time. Ash looks around for Kukui and Trevenant, but they aren't there. Not only that, but the Trevenant he was just on has just become an old tree. Aw man. The implications there. Rotom spots Celebi and starts going after it, and just then, Ash's Pokemon spot him and run towards him. They start looking at him, and he sees that they're really dirty, and asks them why they are so, but they can't tell him, obviously, and he can't really understand them. Afterwards, they all go home, and Ash asks if dinner is ready to Burnet. Not only that, but Rotom shows Burnet the picture of the Celebi, and she asks Ash to go wash his hands, which he doesn't, but he does go downstairs to get Kukui, who's reading his move index, and looking at his picture from when he was a kid. And that's the end of the episode. The after credit scene is Ash and Kukui eating things that Burnet made, and her saying that they act like brothers. I really like this episode. This is a great way to give Ash the Fiery MZ and see the past of Kukui. This episode had 2 deaths as well, which I like the way it was done. It was very subtle, not very overt. The first one, and this one's up for debate, but the more I think about it, the more I'm sure of it, is the massive Druddigan that was a stone that Ash blasted with his Z move. Just like the Trevenant that turned into a tree on its death, I think that the Druddigan turned into stone. The Elder spot is now being held by the Drampa. Also, I like that Ash knows how to do the Fiery MZ just based on Kiawe. Not only is it established that Ash has seen Kiawe do that move a lot, but the anime makes it clear that they're sparring partners. There's probably a lot more times not on screen when Ash has seen that move. It's also great to see young Hala battle as well as a young Kukui, and give backstory as to why he wanted to build a league. I don't know how time travel works in the Pokemon world, because it seems like there's both parallel time and a constant stream of time that you can go back and change, which affects the future. I'm wondering if that's what happened here. Ash is also great this episode. He reiterates his want to become a Pokemon Master, which he hasn't done in a while, and doesn't make any rookie mistakes when fighting Kukui. Not that it was a challenging fight. Not only that he's also a guiding voice to Kukui, which I feel is a role that his character always excels at. Even in The Power of Us, his actions inspiring others was a theme, so after so many years of him being the one who has to learn something, it's great to see him teach others. I also think Celebi's role here was better than Rayquaza and Deoxys' last episode, so that's already a plus. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It's one that I recommend watching since it nicely lends into the next episode without being a 2-parter. Not only that, but it's great to see Ash in a guiding role again. It's a very chill episode and honestly does a good job all around of being an enjoyable episode. Ash gets a Fiery MZ, and we get to see how Kukui came up with the idea of the league. Also, the music used in this episode, and I mean the Japanese one, I don't know how much it's going to change in the international release, is really great. I have nothing to complain about. So, I highly recommend this episode. I think you'll enjoy it. But anyways, that's it for my Pokemon Sun and Moon 125 review. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button. It really does help me out. Comment below your thoughts on the episode. What did you think of it? Subscribe for more, and that's it. You can follow me on Twitter at TheRealPDGaming, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.